There are various countries in the world, and all these countries have various levels of challenges. Some of them could be in the baby stage of democracy. Some could have changed into adulthood, and others could be at the zenith of their democratic process. So, all the countries might experience different kind of challenges, but these challenges have to be met with. We have to see that we overcome them. The first challenge is the foundation challenge. That is to say, the woods are lovely, dark and deep, and I have promises to keep and miles to go before I sleep. So, here when you are actually giving the country a democratic setup, when you are actually laying down the process of democracy in the country, when it is in its teething stage, then the challenge is how do you actually put the foundation of democracy in the country. It is not an easy process, because first of all you have to wipe out the older institutions in the country. You have to actually make the people understand that this is a better setup. So, all the challenges that you face while giving foundation of democracy in the country is the foundational challenge. That is, you need to make those who were in power and those who will be in power and those who have to elect people to power, everybody should understand that they are heading towards a better form of government. Okay. The second is the challenge of expansion. Fine. The process does not end with just laying the foundation of democracy. The next challenge is of expansion. That is, the basics to be made in the country well deep rooted. That is, the people must understand clearly that this is going to be the setup of government in the country, and they have to work and they have to have their aims and aspirations from this kind of government. The challenge of expansion is bigger than the challenge of foundation, because you are in fact giving this expansion to all the levels of government, right from the Panchayati Raj to the union government. Everybody needs to understand clearly to the masses that this is what all democracy all about. Fine. You have laid the foundation of democracy. You have had the expansion of democracy. But what about the deepening of democracy? What about strengthening of democracy in the country? Because unless you do not stabilize your foundation, you cannot have a strong building. So, you have actually sown the right seeds, you have tended them, but you have to look after it when it is a full grown tree. You just can't leave it by itself. You have to still water it, you still have to see that it is there in the minds and hearts of the people. So, these are the big three challenges that the country faces when it has a democratic setup: the foundation, the expansion, and of course, the deepening of democracy. Well, before I go further, let me give you two challenges. The first one is that the doctors in Uttar Pradesh, you see, they generally remain absent from their hospitals in the rural areas, the dispensaries which are there. They do not turn for their jobs. They are not available to the people. That's a challenge, you see, but the government is unable to do anything against these doctors. So, what are those measures which the government of Uttar Pradesh should do in order to see that the doctors actually come for the duty? I feel, first of all, it should be made compulsory for the doctors to stay in that particular village where they are serving, so that they are available as and when required. It should not be that the doctor, for the namesake or on paper, works in a village but stays in the comfort of a city without ever seeing the face of that dispensary or hospital. So, let it be made compulsory for the doctor to reside in the village that he is serving to. Next, it should be that the local administration, the police, the district magistrate should actually go and conduct surprise raids if at all the doctors are present during their duty hours. I am sure this will improve the situation in the rural areas. Next, the panchayats should be writing a kind of ACR, the annual report of these doctors, and it should be read out in these village assemblies that they have, so that everybody actually confirms to what the panchayat has written. This will definitely improve the standards of the doctors in the rural areas who generally remain absent from their duty. Next, what about, there is a condition that all the rich people of the society stand for election. They have crores and crores of rupees and they are standing in the election, which clearly indicates that they are going to win the election on the basis of their money power. So, what should be the political reforms that the government should do in order to see that everybody gets the right to be elected, or that everybody is a part of elections? I feel, first of all, the financial account of the party should be made public in black and white. Second, it should be the state funding of the elections of various candidates. Then the citizens, the ordinary citizens should be encouraged to give funds to various parties, and this should be exempted from all kind of taxes, that is the income tax. Well, these were the two challenges that I have put forth and also their solutions. But there are various challenges in various parts of the world which you have to find the solution. You have to actually see how it can get resolved, because a challenge is a difficult situation, but not so difficult that you cannot overcome it. Well, in the next clipping, I come to the last topic of your book.